Introducing Foxclan Publications, stepping into the light.
All right, how's it going, Wes?
It's going good. Ready for episode 3.
Yep. Episode 3. Welcome. So yeah, some good things happening. Some good plans are being made, right?
Yeah, I mean, with Foxclan, I think we can do a little bit of everything.
I hope so.
And with some of the new ideas, I think we'll prove that.
Yeah, I'm totally ready for it too. So yeah, talk a little bit about some of the ideas that you have. Like, we can talk about some of our ideas, but there's a lot we can do with this platform.
Well, of course, we told everybody about the books and all that stuff. But, you know, I've been writing lyrics since I was like 16 years old. Just never did nothing with them. Because musically, that's not where my talent's at all. And then, with some of the same things that we've been doing together, musically, I thought, you know what? Why don't we do the song that I've been wanting to do for years? It's a nice song, lyric-wise anyway, and it's called Songs from Heaven. The song is basically about a little girl standing watching their father's funeral. I wrote this originally during the Gulf War, so it was years and years ago.
Yeah, that's been a while.
And then, you know, figured between the two of us, we can write the music to it, and then my wife Nikki can do the singing, actually make it into a real song. And I think on this channel, we can at least have a nice little preview of it. Of course, that'll be a little bit later on, probably a few episodes down the line, but that's at least just one idea, other than writing books and things like that.
Yeah, and as far as like writing music and everything, I think I of course have some experience with that, so we can definitely compose some things, and who knows, maybe down the line we might even want to have like live acting of our stories and stuff like that. So you know, you've got to have like accompanying music, and there's a lot you can do with that. So I think we're just tapping like the tip of what we can do with that. So
Oh yeah, because you know we're talking about doing, you know, little spooky stories. I forgot your terminology.
yeah. So like,
weird.
so speaking of like weird, like this, it's called chat AI, and like anybody can use it. But I just thought, you know, maybe we could have some episodes where we do silly stories. We come up with a scenario, and I could give an example right now. Like, pick a scenario. I'm going to type it in, and I'll read the response. Thinking a bit too hard there.
Oh well, I was just gonna say, alien meets our current president.
An alien meets our current president. I would recommend anybody play around with this. It's so funny. Like right now, it's writing. It's still writing. This is great. Give me a second and I'll read it back to you. This is also a good thing to use if you're ever having a form of writer's block. My gosh, it's still writing. Yeah, if you ever have like writer's block, you may not use exactly what it says. You may change the scenario. But yeah, here we go. So all you said is an alien meets our current president. And this is what the chat AI said. The alien approached the president with an air of caution, unsecure of how this first contact would go. The president, surrounded by a group of advisors and Secret Service agents, looked equally wary. Welcome to Earth, the president said, extending a hand to the alien. I'm the president of the United States. May I ask what brings you here? The alien hesitated, not sure how to communicate with these humans. But after a moment, a device on its wrist lit up, and a translator began speaking in perfect English. Greetings, President, the translator said. My people have been observing your planet for some time, and we have decided that it is time to make contact. We come in peace. The president raised an eyebrow. Observing us? For how long? For several hundred of your Earth years, the alien said. We have been studying your planet and its inhabitants, trying to learn about your way of life. The president looked at the alien skeptically. And what have you learned? The alien hesitated, unsure of how to answer. We have learned much, the translator said, but we have also seen so many troubling things. Your planet is plagued by war, famine, and disease. We have come to offer our help. The president nodded slowly. I appreciate your offer, but I'm not sure how much help you can really offer us. We have our own problems to deal with, and we're not in the habit of accepting help from strangers. The alien looked disappointed, but it didn't give up. Please reconsider, the translator said. We have advanced technology and knowledge that could be of great benefit to your planet. We ask only that you let us help. The president thought for a moment, then nodded. All right, he said. Let's talk about how we can work together. And so began an unlikely partnership between an alien race and the humans of Earth, a partnership that would change the course of history and lead to a new era of peace and prosperity for all. It wrote all of that just from that small scenario.
I hope we can get our own scenarios in there.
Yeah, so there's a lot that can be done with that, but of course we would aim for like a creepier type story. But yeah, that would be fun. A lot of people listen to creepypastas. I've listened to quite a few of them, actually. I know you said you haven't really gotten into them, but we could always do our own spin on things. So that's just an idea that I had for, to share with everyone. We could also read little tidbits, like we can pick out spots of the books we're working on to give people a little bit of a preview of what we're working on.
No, Hotel Hell.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm still working on. But I guess you're still working on it a couple months later if you're still just barely touching it. But I'm hoping to get back to that this week. I'm close. Well, I won't say close. Probably 2/3 of the way through, probably.
2/3.
Maybe our next episode we can kind of read a little bit from our current projects.
Yeah. I picked out that little tidbit. I, of course, had you read what I picked out. I might pick a different part of the book because that was a bit of an intense part. But did you enjoy that reading?
Yeah, I did. It just took me a little while because on my days off, it seems like all I want to do is sleep anymore.
Yeah. Hopefully pretty soon there'll be a solution for that.
Of course, as we both know, night shift kind of sucks sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, my schedule gets all off a lot of times from working night shift. But do what you have to.
Well, I laid down yesterday about 2 o'clock just to take a little nap. That little nap lasted till about 1:30 this morning. So, fun.
Yeah. If you don't set an alarm sometimes.
Usually I have 3 alarms. They're called dogs.
Yeah, those dogs could wake you pretty easily after
Yeah,
meeting those
I hear a
dogs.
fart. That's even a mouse fart.
But as far as just goals that we hope to accomplish with this podcast, um, I guess it's kind of like a do-it-yourself kind of motivational podcast. Like, you can do it yourself. You don't have to try and find a bigger company and hope you're one of the 1% that gets accepted. Um, that's what we're aiming to do. Do it ourselves. Write these books, and it's not easy to get the information out there. So we want to find ways and methods to do it ourselves, and maybe other people out there will get motivated to learn how to do things themselves. So there's a lot that can be accomplished with that.
Yeah, I'm not happy with the big book places anyway, just from, well, my personal experiences, but then also from what I know, and I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, you probably can't say certain things, but um, other than some things fall on you with the companies that if you're not ready for it or prepared for it, it could be overwhelming. So it's better to take on something that you can handle. And I don't know why companies do that to people, but that it's kind of like, well, we can bring this person on, and the worst case scenario is they lose money, not us. Like, I think that's kind of how they think, right?
Pretty much. And then, at least doing it yourself, you get to work on at your own pace.
Yeah.
You don't have to hurry up and get 2 titles out in a year, or whatever the case may be.
Because that, everybody says when they see things coming out fast, like the writing suffers, this, that, the story suffers, this, that, or the other. And it partially is because it becomes soulless at some point. Like, if you're not putting your soul into your work, people will pick up on that. And they have, 2 titles a year, or whatever, they tell you have to do. At some point, you're just writing for writing's sake and not for what you really originally wanted to accomplish. So we don't want to go down that road. That's what we're looking to avoid, I would say, right?
Oh yeah, we just want to do it at our own pace and let the story come to us instead of forcing it.
Yeah. And obviously, you're writing a lot about your experiences, so it's very important to put the right details in there when you're, especially how important those experiences are to you.
Yeah, like with this current project, it's kind of hard to get some of the details exact without talking to several people, because it happened to a bunch of us. But my memory kind of suffers a little bit since the stroke, but it's still there, just not as nice crisp as it used to be. Of course, I could just be getting old. I don't know.
I think another thing we could potentially do is that Spring Grove place that's nearby one of the places that my security company that I work for, patrols. That would be a cool place to have, like, EVP and go and like the ghost hunting, and then we could talk about our experience on here.
Yeah, heck, we could almost do live podcasts.
Yeah, we could, and I actually have an experience at the building that we monitor. It's literally, the road is like in between the building I monitor and the Spring Grove Cemetery, and I have an experience at that particular site. I've only had a few experiences in my life. I haven't experienced what you have, but it was was a little scary. Did I tell you about it?
I think you ended up messaging me that night and said, "Hey, guess what just happened to me?"
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty crazy. So, I mean, it's not a huge thing, but I mean, as I'm walking around the building, uh, I'm going to the back of the building, checking some doors and some lights because I have to make sure they're off and the doors are locked. I go into this room, and these doors, they open automatically when they see motion in front of it. So I go inside, I check the concession area, I check another area, check the back. I walk back in, and all of a sudden there's like a skid, and there's like, like the it's kind of like styrofoam, but it's like flimsy, like it moves. It's not really styrofoam, but it's kind of similar to it, but it moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I came back out, it was blowing in the air. And I'm like, there's no wind inside this building. Like, what's going on? And it wasn't like that when I walked in. And I'm looking around, and all of a sudden, the double doors just open. No one's there. I'm far away from the motion detector, and it opens. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I'm like, I'm going to get out of here. And as I'm walking out, I kind of say out loud to myself, not to anyone, I'm like, I'm starting to think this place is haunted. And all of a sudden, this air horn goes off all by itself. No one's in the building but me. And this loud, really loud. And I quickly ran out of there. Well, I set the alarm, ran out of there, and locked the door. So, I don't know if that's, like, because of the proximity to Spring Grove or what, like, but it'd be interesting to experience Spring Grove after that.
Oh, excuse me. My guess would be that it probably has at least part to do with it.
Yeah.
I know spirits travel. Sure.
The strange thing is nothing's happened again since that. So that was the only time. So I don't know, but that's my experience. It's nothing compared to yours, but
Well, the spirits probably didn't want to smell you after you shit your pants.
right. Get out of here. Oh, that was something else, man. We'll have to find out how to turn off some of these notifications I get. That's alright. I hear them on a lot of YouTuber streams, but it's just like, hey, you're messaging me at the wrong time. Oh, man. Well,
Something that we didn't talk about in episode 1 or 2 is that, we do have Tim Hibden, which is another Foxclan Publications guy. He's got 3 books out. Eventually, on one of our podcasts, he'll join us and talk about his books and talk more about him.
Yeah, that would be great to, and because I haven't actually talked to him myself, so, and I missed out on getting to meet him when he came into town because of work, so that'd be nice to get an introduction and talk a little bit about his books too.
Yeah, Tim, being a writer, but also he's been, my best friend for years. We've investigated, that place that I'm writing about right now, Hotel Hell. We definitely went through hell in that place together. But, it wasn't limited to just that either, because now, even though he's from Iowa, he comes down here and we go to Fairfield County Infirmary or Madison Seminary, Bobby Mackey's. But we've gone down there to Iowa. Nikki and I, we investigated the Bliska house, the Bliska axe murder house. Now that was a hell of an investigation. We went there twice. First time was pretty wicked. Second time was not a whole lot going on. But that first time we had quite a bit of things happen.
It's weird how, like, something will happen and then nothing will happen. It's weird how that works. But we have some plans related to that particular event, don't we? That's probably a little more in the future, but
What's that?
um, our fictional story based on the axe murder house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that we'll be doing probably maybe in a year or two, hopefully. I think that could turn out to be a really good story.
I think it will be.
Yeah. And the book that I'm working on right now does have a character that will be in that book. So when that comes out, at least people will have an introduction to him before we tell his story and how he got where he's going to be. So I'll be able to tell that before we even write that book.
But yeah, in future episodes, I definitely want to introduce some creepy pasta stories and some original music.
Yeah, we can work on some songs. That'll be a lot of fun. Maybe at some point in the future we'll have somebody who's a little more professional at engineering than I am, but we can put it together. And there's always people that can clean it up too, even after you record it. So
It's kind of what I was figuring.
yeah, but I can get it to sound, pretty good. I mean, I've done quite a bit of that. So yeah, that's also something we're hoping to do here in the future, probably the near future. But yeah, we'll just have like different types of episodes. We'll discuss projects. We'll do the stories. We'll talk about real life stories. Maybe we'll do some kind of event, or I know you'll have events where you go live, and then we can talk about your experience with those, those haunted places you visit. So we can just mix all of those elements into our podcast. We think that everyone will listening to this podcast will enjoy these stories. They'll be very entertaining, and hopefully also in the future people can point out some stories that we can share. So those are just some goals that we hope to do with this podcast.
Just baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
Maybe something new this week, something new next week.
Yep. And if you can confirm your friend, our next episode, hopefully we can do that. Have him introduce himself.
Definitely something I can work on.
Yeah. So we'll work on that, and then we'll put together in between now and the next podcast some ideas for some stories that we can read on here and talk about, and and we'll get eventually on a regular schedule. We're still getting used to the technology, so may not be the most technically inclined people, but I'm not too bad at it. But and I just have a few more things I'm going to do with that first episode, and so but of course you'll have heard that episode before this comes on, but I've just got a few more things to do on that. I still need a couple of sound clips, but everything's good on that one.
Of course, now I'm recording this while I'm on break, so I better get my butt back inside.
All right, Wes. Well, appreciate your time. It's been a lot of fun. We look forward to meeting our goals. Thanks, everyone, for listening to our podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Wesley. You guys have a good night. I hope we see you next time.
See you next time, everyone. Bye.